Hi fellow traders, welcome to another edition of Rollin with Ed. I'm going to deviate a little bit this week from the program because I want to address an issue that I brought up in a live feed on Thursday, when it centered around trading in a simulator. I got a lot of feedback, well, not negative, but more or less questions around where, what I feel about the simulator and where I feel it fits into trading education. And it's a very important question, and I felt I needed to stop and take this time to address it. You see, learning how to be a consistently profitable trader, you need practice as well as the knowledge. You need the ability, or you need the option or the ability to be able to put what you're learning into practice. And you have to gain some type of confidence in that strategy and that you can trade it and that it can work for you. If it doesn't, then you need to move on. If that strategy doesn't fit you and you can't seem to make it work, then that's when you need to move on. So simulator is excellent in that respect, but it can't mimic all of the pressures and risk that you would incur in a live account. But the simulator does have its place. It's a tool, plain and simple. It is just one of the many tools that we use to help us achieve our ultimate goal. If we, just like any other tool, if we use it incorrectly, it can be catastrophic to our trading. We could lose all our money and end up going in a hole. So we have to use that tool correctly. So all of these games and challenges that people play, and that certain you have some communities that have simulator challenges and all of that. I just don't believe in that. As a professional educator, I'm a professional licensed educator in this state of South Carolina. I teach other teachers classes that they have to have in order to get their license. So I feel that I'm very versed in knowing what works and what doesn't in the education arena. And playing games that aren't centered around real life scenarios are very detrimental to our learning. Now, I know as a teacher, I like to take my students to competitions where they competed against other schools and other students. But the practice that we did was focused. The challenges were real life, real world situations. It's like, well, take for instance, if I'm practicing for a golf tournament, I'm using golf now because it's Masters time. So let's say I'm using an oversized driver. I'm using an illegal ball. I'm going out there in my practice rounds with 18 clubs in my bag. And I'm practicing and preparing that way. And I feel like I'm getting killer results. So when it's time for me to play, and I have to use a legal driver, I have to use only the clubs that I'm allowed. I think it's 14. And, I have to use a legal ball. How do you think I'm going to perform? I'm not going to perform worth 2 cents because in my preparation, I used the wrong tools. And, I didn't follow the rules when I practiced. So everything is inflated. And that's the way it is when you're in a day trading simulator and you're not using the same amount of capital that you would be using. You're not trading the same stocks that you would be trading when you go live, and you are turning into that simulated trading guru, and that's a bad thing. Now, here's another thing that happens. You have these guys let's say you're following somebody, all right, and they're getting in and out of trades with 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 shares with ease, and you're trying to do this live. You can't seem to get the fills. Nothing is working, but you have other guys that's saying, hey, I'm getting them, and you find out they're in the simulator. You're trying to do it live. What happens? This is what happens. When you trade in the simulator, you're not going to get the exact same market condition. Remember I said it tries to mimic it, but it just can't? This is one of the things that it can't do. If it's trying to follow the price action. So let's say I've got 1,000 share order out at 50 bucks. Okay, and you guys that's in the community and you're watching my platform every day, you've seen this happen before. Let's say I have an order out at 50 bucks. The price action gets to 50, but my order doesn't fill, and it quickly drops back. And you're like, why didn't your order fill? What happened? Well, in a live environment, your orders are placed. However I place my order, I'm in, you know, I'm placed in a certain place. I may be like the 20th person in line to get their orders filled. So let's say I've got 1,000 shares and there were only 8,000 shares offered at $50, and I had 10 people in front of me. Those 10 people took up all of those 8,000 shares at that 50. So when all of those are taken out, if it's taken out before my order gets hit, my order's not going to get hit. You know, it's just going to bypass me or, you know, leave me hanging. If you're in a simulator, as soon as that simulator hits that price, you're going to get filled every time. You know, it doesn't matter how many shares are available. There's nobody in front of you. You're always going to be in the front of the line. Okay, there's never going to be a line. So that's the frustrating part of being in a simulator and trying to, you know, mimic or trade or get the fills that this person that you're following. That's how you can tell whether they're in a simulator or not. You know, over a period of time, you'll be able to figure it out and see for yourself. As a matter of fact, case in point, just last year, there was this well-known community who was using this broker and was saying that, hey, he was using this broker and he was getting all of these fills. And people who were trading live couldn't get them. And, you know, they got upset and they start bombarding this broker saying, hey, why is this person getting all these fills and I'm not? After a period of time of getting all of these complaints, you know, they're going to take a look at it. And they realize, you know, hey, this person that they're following is not even trading in our system. So he's probably using a simulator or using another broker, and it caused this big, you know, dust up between them two. And they's like, look, I don't want your business anymore because you're causing us to lose customers. And that scenario is very real, you know, and that's why we have to, you know, understand and realize that in a simulated environment, the fills are going to be so much better. They're going to be so much easier. And when we go live, you know, and that's, it's so easy to get caught up and have these unrealistic expectations. And, you know, we can make tens of thousands of dollars in a simulator and can't make $5 live. And it's because we're not prepared. We had unrealistic expectations coming out of the simulator. Everything looks so easy and so effortless. And then all of a sudden, you know, the wheels start falling off. You're not really prepared for what you're going into. And that's my big thing. You know, I feel you have to be prepared for reality when you start trading live. If you're not, you're gonna lose a lot before you start gaining, a little, and we don't want that to happen. So, you have to make sure you're not gaining and you're not developing the wrong behaviors and gaining the wrong expectations, in there. It's just, it can be devastating. I can't stress it enough. And that's why I get pissed when I see it and get really frustrated. And I may get short when somebody asks me, are you going to do another small account challenge? Or are you going to start? It's not a challenge to me. This is real life. I don't look at it. If I looked at it as a challenge, I would fail every time. But it's not a challenge. It's real life. I'm going to start, when earnings season kicks off, I'm going to just trade with $2,500 in equity. And all that's doing is I'm reducing my share size that I would normally trade to show people that you can make money with reduced share size, that this thing is scalable. Okay, I'll scale down and pick you up and show you how, okay, now we're at 2,500, so we may have to take 100 to 300 shares of this, and then now we got 5,000, we can take 300 to 500 shares. And look how we increase our profit potential as we scale up. And guys, this is scalable as far as you are comfortable trading. How much profit you make is limited only by you and your ability to scale up. And these things are scalable, but the only way to do it correctly is to do it live in real time. The best teacher in this industry is real life experience, real world experience, and that's it. That's the best teacher. If somebody's telling you playing these games and these challenges are just ways to teach you and gain experience, no, it's giving you, number one, unrealistic expectations, because the results, how you achieve the results in the simulator is not going to be aligned with what you would be doing real time. It's not. So if you don't have a way of learning and training and doing it in real life, real world scenarios, then don't do it, because it will be detrimental to your growth as a trader. But that's the message I wanted to share with you guys today. The simulator is good. It's a tool, and it can be one of the most effective tools that we have, but we have to use it correctly. If we don't use it correctly, it's worthless, it's useless, and it could cause catastrophic, failure. So, I just wanted to make sure that you guys understood that. But next week, we'll be back on path, back on track, and I'll be taking you through a couple of more stops on roadmap to success. All right, guys, so that's going to do it for me. I hope you guys have a great rest of the weekend. Next week is a short week, so you guys be prepared for that. Friday, the market's closed for Good Friday, so whatever we do, we're going to have to do Monday through Thursday. It's like I've had short weeks the last 3 weeks, so I guess I'm getting used to it now. But just remember what I said today, guys, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.